Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about the Pathfinder 2 core rulebook, which is on shelves now, right? And what a weird, strange, doomed product this thing is. All right, let's talk about it. All right, so I go to a Friday Night Magic. I play in I'm very incredibly fortunate. I play in a beautiful, friendly local game shop that's near me. It's just absolutely gorgeous. They do such a good job with their stock. It's really weird. My friendly, it's really funny that I would say friendly local game shop. I'm very fortunate. I have quite a few friendly local game shops around me. The place where I play Friday Night Magic, actually, I'm not sure. I think I can use the word friendly local game shop. The staff at this place is terrible, okay? They are not, okay? They do not have the old traditional problems. They are very gender aware, okay? They treat everyone who walks in the door, regardless of their gender or their identity, the same. And that is they ignore them, and they're very why are you it's almost like when you go into like a bar and you're like, I would like a Shirley Temple, right? And they're like, all we got is Coors, right? So whenever you ask for whatever product you want, it's not cool enough for these people, and they're like, they roll their eyes and take you to whatever it is. Now, why do I go to this place? The store is incredibly beautiful, right? I've met the owner. The owner's the owner's a genius, right? He actually literally has a huge, the FLGS I go to is a comic book shop first, Warhammer 40K second, right? Then TRPGs, then board games, right? Every single bit, all the stock is pristine. There's incredible selection. There's lots of tables to play. Their staff is horrible to everybody. They treat you like it's very much like that old 80s record shop you would go into, and you're like, oh, do you have Debbie Gibson? And they're like, oh my gosh, why aren't you buying Elvis Costello, right? It's pretty terrible, but overall, the overall experience is pretty awesome because the store is gorgeous. The stock is really nice, and they supply beautiful space for everybody to game. So overall, I call it an FLGS, even though the staff is quite unfriendly, right? And it's crazy. All the staff are like this. It's nuts. Every now and then, they'll hire somebody who comes in who's nice. That person's gone in 2 weeks. I don't know why. Anyway, all right. So I go in for F&M. A buddy of mine is a hardcore Pathfinder player. I walk over to the TRPG section between rounds to look, and there, sitting on the shelf, is the absolute beast of Pathfinder 2. The book is absolutely huge, right? It's I think it's 600 pages long, right? It's nuts, right? So, and it's in my buddy's hands, and we have this little standoff, because there's only one copy there, right? And I was kind of I wanted to look at that, and he's like, I got it, Garibay. Piss off. It wasn't that harsh, but it was we both wanted to look at the same book at the same time. It was you can kind of hear the. Anyway, all right. So, and I was like, hey, so I know you're a Pathfinder fan. He goes, yeah, I'm looking through, and I'm like, you have a pretty serious game, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, you have 5, 6, 7 players. He's like, yeah, we're up to 8 now. And I'm like, so you guys gonna give this a shot, this Pathfinder 2? He's like, no, I won't touch this. Right? Now, what blows my mind is he is exactly so he is one of 5 different groups that I know of that are hardcore Pathfinder players that will not touch Pathfinder 2. Will not touch it. This is the Pathfinder Paizo fans, right? And they will not touch Pathfinder 2, right? So I really think you got a situation where this game, you look at it and you're like, who is this written for, right? So one, Pathfinder 2 is really very, very much, in my opinion, doomed. And the reason why is Pathfinder exists because people did not want the new edition of Dungeons & Dragons 4. They wanted to keep Dungeons & Dragons 3.5. Wizards of the Coast is go take a long walk off a short pier. We're not going to make any more 3.5 for you. And they're like, well, Paizo will do it for us. And that's exactly what Paizo did, right? So basically, the people that you're making Pathfinder 2 for are the people who are absolutely most resistant to a new version, right? And the reality is, every single hardcore Pathfinder player that I am meeting is saying the same thing. They're like, I got a stack of 30 books, and you can go jump off a cliff if you think I'm going to give these books up and then I'm going to replace them. I won't, right? So what does that mean, right? Because let's talk about the Pathfinder 2 book. All right, so here's the Pathfinder 2 book, right? What is it, right? It is absolutely stunning art, absolutely stunning layout, and in these two things, it's not good. It's like industry level best, right? Frankly, I think the art and the layout in the Pathfinder books are better than Dungeons & Dragons. It's not even close, right? One of the things that's been done in Pathfinder 2 is they're using these icons, these symbol icons, to make the game visually more easily to understand what's happening, right? All right. So the art and the layout is amazing. The writing is amazing, all right? The rules design is absolute trash. Absolute trash. I'll explain to you in one little element why the rules of Pathfinder 2 are trash. Let's talk about conditions. Dungeons & Dragons has a dozen conditions, right? Exhausted, blinded, right? There's a few, charmed, right? These are conditions, right? You know how many conditions Pathfinder 2 has? 41 conditions. Ironically, one of the conditions is doomed, which is literally the condition of the Pathfinder 2 book. That book is doomed, right? All right, so 41 conditions, right? So basically, Pathfinder 2 is incredibly complex, incredibly deep, and incredibly crunchy, right? Now why is that a problem? Because the reality is the people who want a incredibly deep, incredibly complex, incredibly crunchy game, they already got it. It's called Pathfinder 1, right? And the reality is they have no interest in innovation. These people are literally there because they hate innovation, right? Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition was innovative, and they're like, reject. We don't want innovation. We don't want 3.5 to change. Give us 3.5, right? And so now, and I think Pathfinder, has to be at least 15 years old, maybe 20, right? You have this situation where they're just like, hard reject, man. We are not moving to a new game, right? And so if this is the case, right? I saw the pictures on Twitter, right? Jason Bowman showed pictures from Pathfinder. They printed tens of thousands of these books, tens of thousands of them, minimum, maybe over 100,000, right? We don't really know. It's incredibly difficult to get real numbers for the tabletop role-playing, but we know for a fact tens of thousands of these were printed. So how do you get this, right? How do you get a company, right, that has this absolutely doomed product that virtually no one's going to buy, right? And they have the money to print tens of thousands of them, and they're able to keep moving forward, right? Well, one of the reasons why is economics are incredibly complex today, right? So one of the things that Pathfinder has done is they really scaled down. Paizo scaled down. Paizo was smart from the beginning. They never had a large team, right? So the people who create Pathfinder, and my hat's off to him, Jason Bowman and his team, man, they work hard and they create an incredibly good product with a very minimal staff, right? So one, their costs are low, right? This is horror movie 101 for Hollywood. They know this, right? You keep your costs low, right? So that's very smart on the part of Paizo, okay? The second one is who you can sell books to has become very, very weird, okay? So one of the things is, a lot of people don't know this today. Marvel knows this. So you could take a bunch of trash books and you could sell thousands and thousands of copies. How can you do that? You could be guaranteed to take a trash book and sell it to thousands and sell thousands and thousands of copies today. How do you do that in America? This is brand new. It's only been coming out in the last 5-10 years, which I know that's not brand new, but it's a new trend, right? Is American libraries. There's thousands of them, right? And basically, if you can sell librarians, basically many librarians don't make their individual choices. They read lists and they are like, oh, this is, and if somebody tells them, somebody they trust tells them this is a hot new book, and there's these influencers, these library influencers, and literally as little as a half a dozen library influencers, if you can get on even one of their lists, the rest of the mavens, the rest of the influencers will pick it up, and you could sell 5, 10, 15,000 copies to libraries, right? So that's a big deal, right? Right out of the gate, right? You can sell a trash book to libraries in tens, like in 5-digit numbers, right? Which is pretty incredible, right? And Marvel's been doing this for a while, right? They said they print a ton of these the collections, right? Graphic novels, right? And like many of them, none of the fans want these books, right? But the libraries will do $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 orders, right? It's incredible, right? And I think Paizo figured this out as well, right? So I think, and that is going to give them some, enough to float some profit and move forward. And then, frankly, the only other new people who might possibly touch this is people who hate D&D for XYZ reason. And there are a lot of those people, a lot of them, right? So it's possible that Pathfinder 2 will be able to scrape by and find a market. And frankly, all Paizo needs to do is keep selling their intellectual property to video games and maybe even land a movie, right? And if they do either one in that, the numbers from the books they sell won't matter in the least, right? So TRPG industry economics are incredibly complex. It is my opinion that that Pathfinder 2 is truly unplayable. Not because this is just like, who would you possibly play it with, right? The people who really want a deep, crunchy, complex game and don't want to play the 30 awesome books that exist for Pathfinder 1? Is that like 4 people in the world? How is anybody going to build a table for this? That's my take on Pathfinder 2. Do you think I'm wrong? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.